We've done more in the last 4 years to respond to the climate crisis than the accumulated efforts of governments over the last 30. But even everything that we've done is not enough. I mean, we've got so much more to do. I chose to come into politics because when it comes to climate change, there are some things that can only happen as a result of change in the political sphere. So, what are our laws, what are our regulations, what are the kinds of conditions that create markets that are going to cause less harm or ideally some good than the ones that we've had in the past. So that was essentially the motivation. It's been around for quite a long time, but it's really only started working in the last 12 months since we put in place the auction platform. The emissions trading scheme was called a cap and trade scheme, but it didn't have a cap. And so what that meant was you could continue to have unlimited emissions growth, and as long as people were prepared to pay a price for it, they could continue putting pollution into the atmosphere. So one of the big things that we did was to put in place an absolute cap and a sinking lid, so it gets smaller every year for the next 30 years. And that has had the obvious effect of driving the price up on the pollution that people put into the atmosphere. We're starting to see a more mature futures market. You're starting to see businesses that are saying, actually, we're going to do what we can to change our industrial process, reduce the amount of pollution we're putting into the atmosphere in the first place. I'll give you an example. Once you take the ETS price into account, it's now cheaper to install a new wind farm. So the CapEx plus the OpEx of a new wind farm is now cheaper than just the OpEx of an existing gas peaker. So, you've got some energy companies that are starting to take gas peakers offline because it's actually cheaper now to install wind. And so you can sort of start to see businesses responding to the price signal, which is really what the scheme was designed to do in the first place. The work that we have to do in order to create a net zero economy, in order to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees or less, in the time that we've got available to us, it's going to take everybody and it's going to take everything that we've got. I hope that the future of the ETS is that it will really grow into a much more mature market, that the price signal will continue to be really strong and to drive companies to reduce the pollution that they put into the atmosphere in the first place. I think that you'll start to see new financial services being built off the back of it, so people will start offering derivatives-based products, which should accelerate climate action because it means that people will be able to start capitalising their emissions reductions sooner rather than having to wait for some kind of unspecified point in the future. So I really do hope and believe that it will be probably the key driver of change in our climate change program in the future.